If you guys are looking to buy a stacked NBA 2K19 account with a high overall and maxed out badges, make sure you hit up my boy Sports TMB. The link to his Twitter will be in the description. Click it, make sure you tell him that Dat Boy sent you, and he'll hook you up with the account of your dreams. What's going on, YouTube? Today I'm bringing you the top 10 archetypes on NBA 2K19. Before we get into the list, I just want to give a little context about how I am doing this. First of all, it is tough to compare different positions, like a big man to a guard, so don't look at essentially where they're ranked. Just look at these are the top 10 builds, top 10 archetypes on the game. Next, just because your build is not on this list does not mean it's not a good build. It might work for you. In my opinion, these are just the 10 best. A good player can make any archetype look good if you use it correctly. Now this list is, in my opinion, the top 10 builds, the top 10 archetypes of a dominant build that can carry a team. Your build might work for you, and that's great. If you disagree with the list, I'm sure a lot of you will, make sure you leave your list down in the comments. I did this last year, and it was great talk down in the comments with you guys about, you think this should be higher, lower, this build should have been on the list, this build shouldn't. It's just 2K talk, you know what I mean? So don't take it personal. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed the list, and let's get right into the top 10 archetypes on NBA 2K19. Starting off at number 10, we have a glass cleaner. Now you might want to go with a slashing glass cleaner, a defending glass cleaner, but I would just go pure glass cleaner. First of all, on the twos court, you see a lot of people run double centers, and they always run with the pure glass as the big man. It is a very effective method on the twos. On the threes, I don't really like playing with inside centers, but if I had to, a glass cleaner might be one of them, just because of the fact that they can absolutely horse. So they can bail you out. You're missing shots. A glass cleaner is the best chance to get rebounds. Now, offensively, they are a huge liability. They struggle to shoot from the perimeter. Of course, you can hit the occasional shot, but consistently, you're not going to hit. Also, even inside around the basket, they do not finish well. They miss a lot of layups. Even if it's a lightly contested layup, they miss quite often, and they don't dunk the ball as much as you would like them to, but they have the ability to bail out a team. That's why they come in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is a shot creating slasher. Now, many of you probably never would have thought I would have put a slashing build on the list, because you guys know I like to shoot threes, but the primary slasher secondary shot creator, believe it or not, gets a 73 pointer if you leave everything default. Obviously, if you go higher wingspan, lower wingspan, higher height, lower height, you could get a higher 3-ball or a lower 3-ball, but you get a 70 open shot 3, so you can shoot pretty consistently with that. Next, you see the athleticism of this build in these clips. It's absolutely insane, the athleticism. Now, something you have to realize, in past 2Ks, even if you weren't a slasher, they had the animation glitch. So more builds than should have had all the dunk packages. So it didn't really make slashers and athletic builds stand out that much. There's a huge difference now. Guards that, pure sharps, they don't have these crazy athletic, fast, powerful dunk packages that you can get on this shot creating slasher. You saw the clips, man. The dude is a freak of nature. Not only is this build a ton of fun to play on, but it's actually a really effective build if it's put in the right hands. If you know how to shoot, you can time a jump shot really, really well. You can shoot threes with this build, believe it or not. Coming in at number 8, we have a slashing or a rebounding stretch big. So a primary 3-point shooting, secondary driving and finishing, or secondary rebounding. Now, I wanted to put this on the list because of a few reasons. The slashing 3-point shooter, right? Even at the 4 position, dunks tremendously well in comparison to a pure stretch, okay? And also the same thing with the rebounding stretch. You're able to get rebounds way more consistently. Your dude actually will go after rebounds by himself, as opposed to kind of, you manually having to chase the ball and track the ball. Your guy just attaches to rebounds better. So I wanted to put them both on at the same time, because they're just 2 versions of the stretch big that are not only very effective, but very different from the pure stretch. I didn't want to separate them. You could go either way you want, whether you want to be better finishing inside or better rebounding and supporting your teammates, obviously with brick wall and things like that the rebounding stretch would get. But this build in comparison to the pure stretch is very different, despite the fact that they still shoot very well. They still get gold shooting badges, but inside they are much, much more effective. At number 7, we have the pure shot creator or the playmaking shot creator. Now, the reason I put them together is because I wanted them both to be on the list. I know a ton of people that use this build mainly on the twos, but even this year, there's top pro-am teams that use a shot creator at point guard And even on the threes, they are an effective build because of their ability to shoot consistent three-pointers. You see the clips here, you can shoot off dribble threes, you can shoot standing shot threes. Now the reason I put them both on, I didn't want to, not that I didn't want to upset anybody, but they're both very, very effective builds if put in the right hands. Now the pure shot creator is different from the playmaking shot creator. Obviously, if you want to have a better ankle breaker badge, you want to have a little bit better ball control, maybe speed boost at a higher height, then you want to go with the playmaking secondary primary shot creator. If you're not worried about that and you just want to be able to speed boost, of course, you're going to be a little shorter as a pure shot creator to be able to speed boost, but you want to have a 99 open shot mid-range. You want to have the 99, not 99, you want to have the Hall of Fame difficult shots and teardropper and all the badges that the pure shot creator gets. Then you're going to obviously go with the pure build. They're both very effective, but you have to decide what you would rather have, the upgraded ball handling, but the lower shooting in the mid-range, or vice versa, right? Both builds are really effective on the twos, in Pro-Am, and even on the threes if you know how to shoot three-pointers. Coming in at number 6, we have the sharpshooting shot creator. Now the reason I put this above the pure and the playmaking shot creator is just because of the versatility. This build on threes is a very, very good build to have. Now the reason being, as a primary three-point shooter, secondary shot creator, obviously you're way more athletic than a pure sharp. So you can drive, you can get dunk packages that you're not able to get on a pure sharp, but you're still reliable from three, even from limitless with that gold limitless, and depending on the height and the wingspan and everything, you still get a very high three-pointer. Now on the twos, it's an effective build, but I would rate the pure shot and the play shot over this build on the twos. But this build on the threes or in Pro-Am, in my opinion, is a better build. Now necessarily, you're not really going to run the point guard with this build, despite the fact you could. You're really going to be running the 2 guard in Pro-Am with this, and this is a better build to run Pro-Am with than the other two, unless obviously you're running the point guard. All 3 shot creating builds are good, but I like this build just because of the upgraded shooting badges, the Hall of Fame catch and shoot, the Hall of Fame deep range deadeye, the gold limitless, very, very effective. Coming in at number 5, we have a pure post scorer, or really any dual archetype post scorer. Post scorers this year, I'm telling you, I've been playing on mine for the last week. It is insane how good they are this year. If you know what you're doing in the post, they are unstoppable. You just have to decide how you want your post to play. Do you want the pure post so you're as good in the post as possible? Do you want a slashing post scorer so that you're better inside? Do you want a shot creating so you're more versatile? Do you want a sharpshooting post scorer so that you're able to shoot threes more consistently? You just have to decide what type of post you want. If you learn how to play in the post, you will absolutely dominate with your post scorer. The one-on-one court is run by post scorers. A good post scorer on the twos, you have to double team. On the threes, it's still a decent build, although I wouldn't recommend it. And then in Pro-Am at the center spot, or even the power forward, any type of post scorer is a very, very effective build, especially the sharpshooting post scorer like I made to run center for my Pro-Am team. The post scorer build is as good as ever. I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 4 is a pure lockdown. Now, whether you want to go with a tall lockdown, a short lockdown, I recommend either a 6'6" shooting guard lockdown or a 6'10" small forward lockdown. These builds this year are insane. The ability to get steals and passing lanes on this build is nuts. Also, the ability to disrupt a ball handler by pressing them full court, whether it's Pro-Am or 3-on-3, is you get bump animations, you make them pick the ball up, they bobble their dribble out of bounds. Just completely disruptive on this build. You get 7 Hall of Fame badges on a pure lockdown. This build, in my opinion, is easily a top 4, could probably be a top 2 build in this game. Coming in at number 3 is the pure stretch big. Now, we already talked about slashing and rebounding stretch bigs, but I went with the pure stretch big just because of the fact that you get such a high 3-point rating on a player that can be 7 feet tall. Now, obviously go with the power forward, not a center for your stretch big, because you get that gold limitless range as opposed to silver. But the stretch big build this year, a lot of people say it's broken, and I guess you could say that, but it is just absolutely, like, it's just insane how good they are. You can shoot over people's heads still. You can dribble. If you know what you're doing, you can really create your own shot, especially if you're playing twos where there's a lot of space. But even on the threes court, you see here, you shoot off dribbles, you go behind your back, you do all this cool stuff. And it's just such a consistent build to shoot threes with, and like I said, you can be 7 feet tall. There's really no reason you wouldn't want to stretch big on your team. Coming in at number 2 is the pure sharpshooter. This build was doubted by so many people, before the year started. It's the only build in the game that gets Hall of Fame limitless range, which every year is one of the best badges. Also, what people underestimated on the pure sharp this year is they're saying you can't move, you can't dribble the ball. Well, this is a pure sharp right here, my boy Zan, and I mean, he's shooting off dribbles from half court. He's still cooking up. He's still able to dribble. You can dribble on a pure sharp. Like, you're more than capable. The behind the backs, between the legs, the spins. You have all that, the hesitations. The pure sharp this year is as good as ever. Honestly, I think the pure sharp this year might be better than it was last year. In all honesty, they are insane this year. They can shoot from half court right off rip. They're the only build that gets that limitless range, like I said. And if you know how to dribble, obviously you can't speed boost, but if you know how to dribble, you can create your own shot, no problem. The 2's court is very tough to guard. The 3's court is very tough to guard. Pro-Am, it's a great build. The only court you really can't use it on is the one-on-one court, but outside of that game mode, it's easily one of the best builds in the game. Coming in at number 1 is the sharpshooting playmaker. If you watch my video from 2K18, this was the build I put at number 1 in that game as well. The reason being, this build is, it's just the best build, honestly. It's the Steph Curry build, essentially. It's impossible to guard. You can absolutely just take ankles, cook up, you can speed boost, you can shoot from limitless range. And this year they're even better because of the takeover. When you get 94 overall and you unlock that dual takeover, you're going to see a couple clips here. You are Steph Curry. You are a speed boosting pure sharpshooter that can shoot from limitless range. You can get ankle breakers. You can speed boost all over the place. This is the build that 90% of top Pro-Am teams use at point guard. On the 2's court, it's very tough to guard, whether they want to ISO or use screens. The 3's court is the same. The one-on-one court, obviously, it's really run by the post scorers. But honestly, if you know what you're doing, you could win games on the one-on-one court with this build because you can ISO. You don't need screens, although it's still an effective build to use screens. It's, in my opinion, the best build in NBA 2K19. But there you guys have it. There's my list of the top 10 archetypes in NBA 2K19. If you agree, if you disagree, leave your top 10 list down below and explain why. I'll be sure to read it. Talk with you guys a little bit in the comments. Make sure you drop a like before you leave. If you made it this far in the video, I really, really appreciate it. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'm out.